Please, sir. I beg you, don't go to the meeting tomorrow. It's not safe.
Stop there.
The warehouse lights flickered. Damien turned slowly toward the voice that had just spoken, deep, cold, and all too familiar. His heart pounded in his chest as the figure stepped out of the shadows. Ikenna? Damien's voice cracked. Yes. It was him. Ikenna Okeke, his cousin. Blood. Family. The same Ikenna he had grown up with. The same one who had smiled at his wedding. The one he had trusted with everything, now standing there, beside Silas, dressed in black, and holding a gun. Mary gasped. That's your cousin? Damien's legs felt weak, but he didn't move. Why? He asked. Why are you doing this? Ikenna's smile was cruel. Because you never saw me. You were always the golden boy. The heir. The favorite. While I cleaned up your messes, you got all the glory. I gave you a job, Damien said. I let you into my business. You gave me scraps. Ikenna snapped. You thought that made us equal? Silas laughed. This family drama is better than a movie. Ikenna stepped forward. This meeting. This trap. It was all mine. Silas just followed my plan. Damien clenched his fists. Mary whispered, we have to run. Now. But the exit was still blocked. Men stood guard. Armed and alert. Then Ikenna pulled out something, a phone. I've sent your board the documents, he said. Fake files showing that you're broke. That you've been stealing company money. By morning, they'll throw you out. Damien's face went pale. You're going to ruin everything I built, he whispered. No, Ikenna said. I'm going to take it. Mary stepped forward. No, you won't, she said. Ikenna laughed. You again. A maid playing hero? Mary didn't answer. She reached into her pocket and pulled out something small, a pendant. She pressed a button hidden in it. A loud beep rang. Suddenly, smoke began to fill the warehouse. It was Mary's emergency alarm, a device given to her by the security expert Damien had once hired. She grabbed Damien's hand. Now! They ran, coughing, blind in the smoke. Bullets flew past them. Someone shouted. A guard fired into the fog. But Damien and Mary kept running. They reached a side door. Locked. Mary kicked it. It didn't budge. Damien slammed his shoulder into it. Bang! It burst open, and they stumbled outside into the night. Rain poured heavily, soaking them in seconds. A black van was waiting, the emergency escape vehicle Mary had quietly arranged when she sensed danger. Get in, shouted a familiar voice from the driver's seat. It was Detective Sewell. The van sped off. Behind them, angry shouts echoed from the warehouse. But they were free, for now. Inside the van, Damien sat silently, shaking with shock and betrayal. Mary placed a hand on his. I'm sorry, she said softly. Damien looked at her, his eyes full of pain. I trusted him. I loved him like a brother. Mary nodded. And he tried to destroy you. As they drove, Detective Sewell looked back. We've been watching Ikenna for months, he said. He's been moving money, meeting with criminals, but we couldn't prove anything. Until now, Mary added. The warehouse, the files, the voice recordings. I got some of it on my phone. Damien stared at her. You risked your life, for me. Mary looked away. I couldn't let you walk into danger. The van pulled up outside Damien's mansion. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. As he stepped out, soaking wet, his staff ran toward him, shocked and relieved. Collins was nowhere to be seen. Damien turned to Mary. I don't know who to trust anymore, he said quietly. But, thank you. She gave a small smile. You don't have to thank me, she replied. Just rest. Please. The rain hadn't stopped. It was still dark when Damien sat at the edge of his bed, his wet shirt clinging to his back. Sleep didn't come. His mind was racing, with betrayal, pain, and questions. In his hand was the pendant Mary had used to save them. Something so small had changed everything. Downstairs, the staff whispered in fear. No one had seen Collins. Security cameras showed him leaving during the night. Disappeared. Damien clenched his fists. Everything he built, his company, his reputation, his name, was now hanging by a thread. He picked up his phone. There were over 200 unread messages. But one stood out. Board emergency meeting, 8 a.m. today. Urgent. Mary stood quietly at the door. She looked tired but brave. I made tea, she said. You didn't sleep. I couldn't, Damien replied, eyes still on his phone. They're calling a meeting. They think I stole money. Ikenna sent them fake documents. Mary stepped closer. Do you have proof to fight back? Not enough, Damien admitted. They'll believe the lies. Mary's eyes narrowed. Then we need to show them the truth. Downstairs, Detective Sewell was typing on his laptop. He turned the screen as Damien and Mary came down. I got a call from my boss. We're working on tracing the fake files Ikenna sent, he said. But court takes time. We don't have time, Damien replied. Sewell nodded. Then we do it the hard way. Go to the board. Tell your story. We'll back you up with what we have. The rest is up to them. The drive to the company was tense. Damien sat in the back seat of the black SUV, wearing a dark suit. He looked powerful, but inside, he felt like a storm. Mary sat beside him. For once, not in her maid uniform, but in a simple black dress. Still humble, but strong. Why are you coming? Damien asked gently. Because you won't face this alone, she said. The boardroom was cold and quiet. 10 men and women sat around a long glass table. They were rich. Powerful. And now, all eyes were fixed on Damien. At the head of the table sat Chairman Okon, old but sharp. We've seen the files, Mr. Okeke, he said slowly. Millions missing. Unauthorized transfers. Offshore accounts. Damien didn't blink. They're fake. Can you prove that? Another board member asked. Mary stepped forward. Yes. We can. She placed a flash drive on the table. It contains voice recordings, screenshots, and location data of Ikenna meeting with Silas, a known criminal. It shows him planning this betrayal. One of the board members scoffed. She's a maid. Why should we believe her? Mary looked him in the eyes. Because I risked my life to bring the truth. Chairman Okon took the flash drive. He plugged it into the screen behind them. Everyone turned as the video played. The truth unfolds. The room filled with Ikenna's voice. Once the files are in, the board will kick him out. Then the company is mine. Then Silas. Make sure no one walks out of that warehouse alive. Gasps filled the room. Faces changed. Doubt turned into shock. Anger. This is serious, said one board member. That's criminal conspiracy. Ikenna arrives. Suddenly, the doors burst open. Ikenna stormed in, wearing a sharp gray suit, acting like nothing had happened. What's going on here? He barked. I'm the one who exposed Damien's crimes. But Chairman Okon raised a hand. We've heard enough. He turned to security. Take Mr. Ikenna to the holding room. The police will arrive shortly. 2 guards stepped forward. Ikenna's face twisted in rage. You fools. I was supposed to lead this company. Damien stood. You were supposed to be family. Silence returned as the board gathered to vote. Chairman Okon finally spoke. Based on the evidence, we find Mr. Damien Okeke innocent of all charges. And we thank Miss Mary for her courage. Damien closed his eyes in relief. Mary smiled softly, standing beside him. Outside the building, the sun was rising. Damien and Mary stood at the edge of the steps. You saved my life again, Damien said. Mary looked away shyly. You saved mine first. He smiled. I think we're even now. Mary chuckled. Not yet.
Damien sat in his study, staring out the window. The sky was calm, but inside him, a storm raged. Ikenna was gone. Arrested. The board had cleared his name. But something still felt off. There was one piece missing. One man missing. Collins. His most trusted assistant. The one who had vanished the same night of the betrayal. And now, the silence felt too loud. Bang! 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 The sharp sound echoed through the mansion. Damien stood slowly. His security team was already moving. Sir, one guard said. Someone's at the gate. Says his name is Collins. Damien's breath caught. Let him in, he said. But search him first. Collins walked in, soaked by the rain. His face was pale and he looked thinner, haunted. Mary stood nearby, arms crossed, eyes cold. You have 5 minutes, Damien said, voice hard. Speak. Collins looked down. I messed up. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was threatened. They came after my sister. Damien didn't flinch. You sold me out. I gave them access to one system. Just one. I thought it was nothing. Then I saw the files. The plan. But it was too late. Collins reached into his coat, carefully, and pulled out a small USB stick. They're not done, he said. Ikenna was just the face. There's someone else. Bigger. Smarter. More dangerous. Ikenna called him the banker. Mary stepped forward. Who is he? Collins shook his head. I don't know. But Ikenna kept meeting someone through an encrypted line. I managed to trace one call. He held up the USB. It's all here. Locations. Voice notes. Names. Damien stared at the USB. You could be lying, he said. I could, Collins replied. But I came back, knowing I might get arrested. Because I'm done running. I want to fix what I broke. Mary looked at Damien. If he's telling the truth, this could lead to the real mastermind. Damien took the USB. One mistake and you're done, he warned. Collins nodded. Fair. That night, Sewell came over. He plugged the USB into his laptop. As files loaded, one name kept popping up. Obiora, a secretive billionaire with ties to global crime networks. Obiora, Sewell said quietly. I've heard rumors. But no proof. Until now. Mary frowned. So Ikenna wasn't the real boss? Damien whispered, no. Just a puppet. The files showed something else. An upcoming shipment. A meeting. A new plan to bring Damien down, even worse than before. We have to move fast, Sewell said. Before Obiora disappears again. Damien looked at Mary and Collins. Then let's finish what they started.
The mansion living room had become a war room. A large map spread across the table. Mary pointed to a spot. Obiora's shipment is scheduled to pass through this warehouse at the port, she said. Collins nodded. It's heavily guarded. But if we catch him there, we get it all, evidence, arrests, everything. Detective Sewell agreed. We only have one shot. He's smart. If he suspects anything, he'll vanish forever. Damien leaned forward, eyes cold. Then we make sure he doesn't suspect a thing. Sewell arranged a team of undercover agents. Mary hacked into the port security system using a tablet. Cameras rerouted, she said. They'll only see what we want them to see. Collins handed Damien a small earpiece. I'll be nearby, feeding you updates. Just don't improvise. He's dangerous. Damien gave a tight nod. So am I. At 11:30 p.m., Damien stood at the edge of the port warehouse, dressed as a buyer, wearing a black coat, fake mustache, and tinted glasses. The night was quiet, too quiet. Then, headlights. A convoy of black SUVs pulled up. From the largest one stepped a tall man in a fine white suit, sunglasses on even at night. $1. He smiled as he approached Damien. You must be the one Ikenna spoke so highly of. Damien kept his voice calm. Yes. I'm ready to do business. Inside the warehouse, crates were opened. Weapons. Drugs. Cash. Obiora gestured. This is power. Ikenna wanted to control it. But he was small. You? You could be bigger. Damien played along. I want in. But I need to see who I'm dealing with. Obiora chuckled. Smart man. But you'll never see all of me. Mary's voice whispered in Damien's earpiece. We're recording. Keep him talking. One of Obiora's guards squinted at Damien. He looks familiar. Obiora turned. Do you have something to say? The guard shook his head. No. Never mind. Damien kept still, hiding his tension. Mary whispered, 2 more minutes. Then we go. Collins pressed a button. A tracker activated in one of the crates. Sewell's team moved in from behind, quietly. Then Mary said, now. Damien reached into his coat and threw a flash device. Boom! A bright light filled the warehouse. Police! Sewell shouted. Drop your weapons. Guards fired. Sewell's men fired back. Mary ran in, helping Damien duck behind crates. Collins disabled the SUV tires with a spike gun. Obiora tried to run. Damien tackled him hard. You're done. Damien growled. Obiora glared. You think I'm the top? I'm just a branch. Cut me down, and more will grow. But it was too late. Sewell's men had him. Handcuffed. Beaten. Defeated. By dawn, the entire port was swarming with police. Crates were taken. Evidence secured. Obiora, one of the most wanted men, was in custody. Sewell turned to Damien. You just helped crack the biggest syndicate in the region. Damien exhaled deeply. It's not just about the company anymore. This was personal. Later that morning, as the sun rose, Mary stood alone, watching the waves. Damien walked over. You were brave, he said softly. She turned. You were too. He smiled gently. You didn't just save my life. You saved my future. The sun rose gently over Lagos, painting the sky with soft gold and orange. For the first time in weeks, the city felt quiet, like it, too, had been holding its breath and could finally exhale. At Damien Okeke's mansion, the staff moved with care and calm. The tension that had once gripped the household was gone. Inside his study, Damien sat alone, a cup of tea in his hand, untouched. The company was safe. The enemies were behind bars. But the wounds of betrayal, those lingered. By midday, the board members of Okeke Industries filed into the main conference room. All eyes were on Damien as he stepped in, his back straight, his suit sharp, but his expression tired. Chairman Ajayi cleared his throat. Mr. Okeke, we owe you an apology. We almost believed the lies. But the evidence you and your team provided cleared everything. Another member added, the fake financial statements, the leaked footage, the betrayal, it's unbelievable. Damien nodded. Believe it. I lived it. A pause. Then he said. Ikenna may have tried to destroy this company, but I built it with sweat and truth. We will rise again, stronger, wiser. A round of applause followed. After the meeting, Damien stood at his office window, looking over the city skyline. Mary entered quietly, holding a small box. He turned and smiled. You always appear when I need you. She placed the box on his desk. These are the items you dropped that night, your father's pen, and the pendant I gave you. Thought you'd want them back. Damien opened the box and touched the pen gently. My father always said, protect the people who protect your name. Mary turned to leave, but he stopped her. Mary, stay. Please. She paused. I'm just a maid, remember? Damien walked toward her. You were never just anything. You saved me. You believed in me when I didn't. Anne. I don't want to lose you. Mary's eyes welled up. I was afraid. Afraid to care. Afraid to dream. Damien reached out, gently touching her cheek. You don't have to be afraid anymore. Silence. Then she whispered, okay. I'll stay. They embraced, not as boss and maid, but as two broken hearts healing together. Later that week, Collins stood beside Damien outside the office building. I guess this is goodbye, he said. Damien looked surprised. I'm going back to the village. Start something new. Maybe, build my own thing. Damien smiled. You've earned that. Just don't build it too close to mine. They laughed and shook hands, real friendship reborn. Detective Sewell arrived moments later, waving a report. Ikenna and Obiora are done. No chance of bail. And guess what? They found offshore accounts linked to a bigger ring. Your help made it possible. Damien nodded. Happy to help. The mansion lit up that evening. Not for business. Not for strategy. But for joy. Staff, friends, even neighbors gathered for a thank you party thrown by Damien himself. Mary wore a simple white dress. She glowed. Damien watched her from across the room, amazed at how someone so humble could hold so much strength. As music played and laughter filled the air, Damien raised a toast. To second chances. To truth. To the people who fight for what's right, even when they have nothing. Glasses clinked. Mary smiled at him, and he at her. Much later, as the guests left and the night grew quiet, Damien and Mary walked through the garden. Under the moonlight, he turned to her. I want more than just to survive, Mary. I want to build again, this time, with someone real beside me. She smiled. Then you're not building alone. He took her hand. Together, they walked forward, into a future not yet written, but full of hope.
Sometimes, the ones we trust the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. But in the darkest moments, a light will always rise from the most unexpected place. Damien lost everything, but he found something even greater. Truth, loyalty, and love. What would you do if your own family betrayed you? Tell us in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. For more life-changing stories that will leave you speechless. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.